Welcome back to You Wish Podcast, everybody. I have a really fun guest for you today. I was scrolling Instagram one day and I saw these videos from the cutest girl. She's gorgeous, she has pink hair, and she was documenting her life behind the scenes, working at a strip club. And she's so open about everything, the pros and cons of her job. And I just think everything's super interesting. So welcome to You Wish Podcast, Miss Charm Daze.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on, Holly. This is going to be the best time ever.
Thanks for joining us. And we're recording in Vegas today. You come here sometimes to work, but you grew up in San Diego, right?
Yeah. So I currently live in San Diego. I grew up in LA and I moved out to San Diego when I was 18. I think, and met my partner, and now the rest is history. I'm there to stay, but Vegas also has a huge part of my heart because this is strip club, like the mecca of all of it. Like this is the center of the biggest, like coolest clubs, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm out here quite a bit. I love it. Vegas is awesome. I could see myself living here one day.
But you love LA too.
Yes, it's hard. And I love New York and I love Chicago. Anywhere I'm going, like, especially this last year with travel dancing, I've been like, okay, this is a new city that is so, like, especially with Chicago.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
And we were talking too that you love spooky stuff. And we started talking about haunted strip clubs. I feel like you could do a fun series just going out and checking out all the haunted strip clubs. What ones have you been to so far?
Yes. So the two most haunted clubs I've been to so far are definitely Palomino, Las Vegas, and then the Admiral Theater in Chicago. And I did try and do like a little series, like doing all the haunted strip clubs. It's going to come back, but my YouTube was taken down. So working on it.
And before we get further into the conversation about your job and stuff, we were talking about this before we started rolling. Like, what are the terms that you guys like to describe your job? Because I don't want to say anything that's derogatory or the wrong term or an annoying term.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you don't even know, like, what term conveys what you guys do that you guys like.
Yeah. So we had been talking about this a little bit before, and I always am just like, yes, like I am a stripper. Like that's the way I like to be referred to. I think it's definitely like a case-by-case basis with every dancer. Like I know some girls like to be called dancers, or it's kind of just interchangeable too. I would just ask maybe like if you're talking to some dancer, what they would prefer to be called. Or just like go with dancer first and then, see what they call themselves. And then it's kind of like appropriate to go from there.
I think Midnight Ballerina is cute. That's like a newer one that people say on social media. That's so adorable.
That one's fun too, because that's like, it's very true. Like fun fact, but a lot of, and this isn't going to be 100% accurate because I can't totally remember the details, but a lot of ballerinas, like back in the day, in order to support their venues, were having to engage in sex work in order to like keep their doors open. So a lot of people say like, well, it's nothing compared to like ballerinas, and it's two different arts for sure.
Yeah.
Two different strengths, and I have a lot of respect for like, I guess, real ballerinas, but it's that we are interconnected kind of in that way. So I think that's really cool.
When did you decide to start documenting what you were doing for social media?
That's a good question. I had started travel dancing back during COVID times in 2020. All the clubs out in San Diego had shut down. That's kind of when I started my online work in general. I actually was doing phone sex lines for a while. That was pretty fun. Those do still exist. And so I want to say it was 2020, 2021 that I posted my first video that like popped off on TikTok. And I was working in San Francisco, and I basically was just like, those guys that'll stand on boxes and just like yell at everyone and say everyone's a hoe and they need to like go to church and stuff. So I basically just started like twerking in front of those guys. And I filmed it and I posted it on TikTok, and it exploded. Like it went super viral. And then I think my account actually got banned at that point.
Oh, no.
I took a little break from social media. I was still in school. I kind of was trying to just figure things out in my own life. And I tried to log back into that TikTok account like a year later. And it somehow, like I was able to get back in. And at that point, I kind of was like, okay, like maybe I can start talking about my day to day. Like I've always been interested in content creation. Kind of always thought like, oh, I'm not like pretty enough. I had really bad acne. So I was
come
like,
on. You're so gorgeous.
But at the time, like, so I had this really rare acne disease called acne conglomata. And basically like it was like abscesses on my
Oh,
face.
wow.
Yeah. So working in the clubs, doing any sort of like work that involves my appearance was so hard. And I forgot like how I got, because this is what I started filming was like, okay, I'm a dancer with very severe acne. This is how I'm going to like do my makeup. This is how I'm going to like get myself to feel like okay enough to go into work. And those videos blew up in a horrible way. Like
Oh, no. What do you mean?
people were awful, like very, very mean. Naturally, like that's just how the internet is. But I fully credit like that period in my life to being why things are the way they are today. Like that's when my account really, really blew up. So just having acne and trying to be like, I want to still feel hot. And like, then I kind of realized like, you know what? Like if I'm looking at myself in the mirror and feeling pretty at the end of the day and I'm going into work and I'm making money, like who's to say like I'm not gorgeous, you know? And I shouldn't be like putting that out there like for other people who are struggling with acne because it's so common. And nobody like talks about like the pain you go through, like struggling with skin issues. So yeah, that kind of was where it really started, right then with the acne.
I love that. No, people need to know that they're not alone with those kind of things, and people love it.
People don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
Like and also adult acne too. Like I had great skin as a teenager, like not a single issue. I could wash my face with like just water and baby soap or whatever, and I'd be fine. And yeah, as an adult, it just like exploded. And I never hear or saw anyone talking about it or like not using filters with their videos. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's change things a little bit. Like I can have people call me this and that in the comments, but I'm also getting that engagement and people following. And it, you know, at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah, you can make all engagement work for you, I think. It might be hard, but you totally can. Are there any treatments you like for people who might be struggling with that or any advice you have?
Yeah. So I actually got on Accutane, which isn't something that I would like advise everyone to do. Like I would definitely say maybe even talk to a therapist before you get on it because it's so intense. It started as a form of chemotherapy. If I'm remembering correctly. So it's very intense. It's just a really high dose of I think vitamin C or vitamin A or something. And it basically just like closes all of your little oil things. But it did make me pretty depressed. And it made it so I could not go in the sun for like a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's very rough. But I do recommend that if it's like your last resort, because like I was getting to a point where my quality of life was so bad. I was like, okay, I just need something to fix this. And it did. And it worked for me. So for some people, I think it could be helpful. Honestly, just going to a dermatologist. Like at the end of the day, like I wanted to try all of kind of like the more homeopathic things, but sometimes you just have to go talk to the professional, like instead of just doing the TikTok ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you made a video that I loved where you talked about you were being featured at a club or an event somewhere and they were using a photo of you. And it was some random photo they pulled offline, but they also put like a massive filter over you and you didn't like it.
Yes. Especially because of my beginning coming from having acne. And I nowadays, like I don't filter my videos. I do like to be open about having acne scars and I still feel hot and sexy with them. Like I still feel beautiful. I don't know what it does, but I feel like it just adds character for me.
No, it's such an interesting thing because like sometimes I'll have like a group picture and I'll want to put like a little Hollywood 2 filter on me. So I'll want to do that to my friends too, like a subtle one because I don't want to leave my friends to die.
Right.
But at the same time, like I've had like photographers do stuff to me where they put like a super heavy filter on or go super hard with the retouching. And then it's like embarrassing. And I'm like, I don't want to post that because I don't want people thinking I went that hard on the filter and think I'm fooling anybody. And I've had friends who like, they'll have their makeup done and then the makeup artist will put like the world's heaviest filter on them, totally morph their face and then want to collab on the post. And they're like, I feel bad not collabing, but I don't want people thinking that I think I'm like fooling anybody with this crazy ass filter.
Right. And like filtering and like having fun with it and going crazy with it. Like do it. Who cares? That's not the problem. But like I've never had this happen where I was like non-consensually edited and then like put up on this website. And I won't like go into the event because I'm not doing the event anymore. But it basically was just a situation where I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of offensive, guys.
Yeah.
Like that's not nice. And I had people commenting like crazy things, like they just kind of made you look like a kid,
Ooh.
like or
Ugh.
weird. Like they just completely smoothed everything
Yeah.
about me. And like I'm 26, I'm not 18
Mhm.
anymore. Like I have texture to my skin. I have smile, or whatever these are called. And I love them. Don't take them off of me unless I ask
Yeah.
you to. But like your friends and like editing for, to make everyone look cute is so different. And I feel like that's a friend thing to do.
Yeah,
Like,
I try to do really subtle too. Like I like to use filters too. I try to go as subtle as I can,
yeah.
just so I'm not super over the top, but
Yeah. No, filters are good, but I'm just like, dang, like let me know next time before
Yeah.
you do that. That was crazy.
When you first started filming at your job, sometimes I'll see you make videos and you're back in the locker rooms. Do you have to like get to work the first person there so there's nobody back there? Or do a lot of people film and you just kind of like respect each other's space and try not to get anybody in the shot?
That's a really good question. So I really try and I make sure that no one's ever in the shot unless they
Mhm.
want to be and know they're in it. People's voices, people's like likeness, even customers. So a lot of times people will say like the club looks so empty or like no one's there. Like you must work at like somewhere really slow. And really it's just that I on purpose do that. Like even people who are coming and visiting, I don't want to film them. Like
Mhm.
I don't I think everyone deserves discretion in those moments in the club. And not there's not a ton of people filming, I would say. I would say the girlies who have OnlyFriends, like their spicy pages,
Mhm.
they'll sometimes do a little something in the back or take some like hot selfies. It's definitely becoming more common though to like talk about what's happening throughout your shift, like on social media. I see other dancers doing it and I'm like, yeah, like I love it. Like, and talking about the reality of it too. Like
Yeah.
this shitty thing just happened and like I only got $100 out of it or something like that. And I think that's like super awesome to see for other dancers too.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Or people who might be thinking about possibly doing it and they want to get like the full spectrum, like what it's really like.
Yes. Yeah. Instead of just kind of like hopping into it. I think it's great like that we're kind of untabooifying it.
Mhm.
I know some girls don't love it because it is starting to make the clubs a little bit saturated with people wanting to come in and start dancing. And
Mhm.
I never recommend dancing to anybody. I never like want to say that this is a good job for anybody because it's like it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
Like
let's
this
get into that a
industry.
little bit about it. What are the things that you think might not be suited to a lot of people? Like, what are the challenges?
You're definitely in an environment where you're not safe. Like I mean, are we really safe anywhere? Like that's a whole
Mhm.
conversation in itself, but it really is an environment where people are intoxicated, where they're kind of like acting like animalistic, honestly, is like a
Yeah.
good way to describe it. And it's a place where you really have to advocate for yourself. And I think that's really hard to do as like a younger woman or maybe someone who is doing it for survival
Mhm.
purposes. And that's a whole different thing because there are people who like this is their last option. Like they need to be in the club dancing. Like this is what they have to do. But I think I've also seen people who are like, I just don't want to like touch my trust fund. So I want to get in the club and because it looks fun on TikTok. And it's not like, it's kind of dark and scary. It can be grimy. I would say more often vastly more often than not, it's not glamorous. But the only thing glamorous about it is like the beautiful women that are like in the building that like
Yeah.
smell good and are nice to you, you
Yeah.
know? So that part is obviously glamorous, but the amount of sexual assault that happens, drugging, trafficking, just bullying in general between like dancers and clients, like a lot of people think it's dancer to dancer. That's very like not as common as people think.
Mm.
Because we're all there for a similar goal. And I would say like just the quickness in which things happen too. Like it can if you get put in that environment, like things would just happen so fast. And next thing you know, you're like, I wasn't okay with that. And it's like, how do you handle that at that point? So I could write a whole book on it, like on reasons not to get in the club.
It seems from consuming the content some of you guys make that not everybody's working regularly at the same clubs. You're moving around a lot. So it seems to me it might be easy to kind of get lost in the system a little bit, whereas you might otherwise have the impression like, oh, if I'm going to the same club every day, people are going to be looking out for me and seeing if I'm there or not. Or
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But a lot of the problems do come from management, I would say. Management, like protecting clients that maybe come in and spend a lot of money, but they're harming people, or not kind of protecting their girls in the way they need to be, taking too much money from girls at the end of the night. Like I kind of call that like they're sharking you down a little bit for money at the end of the night. And with travel dancing a little bit more, I don't know if it really is different compared to like kind of bouncing around. I would say most girls do stay at one or two clubs though, instead of bounce around.
Yeah.
Just because it's real tiring and it's expensive if you're not featuring. So it is more common, I would say, to stay in one or two places.
Yeah. And what is feature dancing for those who don't know?
So feature dancing is when you are taken out as an entertainer, like you specifically to perform for a weekend at a club or a venue. And basically you'll just have show times throughout the night. You just get a cute, you have your cute little costume on and you get up there and you do whatever you want, honestly.
Yeah.
And like feature entertainers I've seen in the past, I've seen like contortionists. I've seen people do, I'm forgetting the word for it, but where they're into pain. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
A sadomasochism type of a thing.
Like we had ladies come in and like staple dollars to them that customers were giving them.
Oh my God, ouch.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
It was amazing. Like for my like spooky loving self, I was like, I didn't know that was like really cool. Like I never like thought of like that being like a fun idea.
I'm scared for them though, because dollars are just, no matter where you pick a dollar up at, they're not clean.
No. Yeah. Oh man, no. The cleanliness aspect of the club too, it's, oh my God, it's not clean in there. I don't know if those places are actually ever really cleaned. This is like total side note, but there was a girl who fell down in the club and like scraped her knee and she had to end up getting the knee like lanced and drained because she had such a bad infection just from like scraping it a little bit. Yeah. In the club. So it's nasty. It's a nasty place.
Oh no, that's crazy.
I forgot what we were talking about first though.
The stapling the dollars. Oh, and feature dancing.
Yes.
And feature dancing also, I've noticed a lot of clubs, like when they have a feature dancer come out, they advertise that person's going to be there. So it's like an attraction. I assume you can make more money that way.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So they'll put it on social media. Sometimes they'll do some sort of little billboard. I also am in charge of promoting it beforehand. And what they'll do is they'll pay you a booking fee to come out. I ask for like travel accommodations to be covered as well. And then you just perform on those show times. It's a really good time. I definitely got into this just being like, okay, I can just go do my normal thing on stage though as a stripper, just because that's what I've always done. I haven't been a burlesque girl or anything yet. And I'm learning that's not the case. Like I want to have kind of an act together and like an actual costume. So that's kind of what I'm working on for this year.
That's exciting. I was going to ask you too about like the creativity that goes into it. Cause I know that's like how Dita Von Teese got her start with like Bring Back Burlesque and everything. And I feel like that would be so much fun to have like a whole theme or
and things like not necessarily like always catered to the male gaze too. Like I'm seeing a lot of that with burlesque right now, like where things are kind of catered to everyone or like the girls and the gays too. And like when something is catered to a female audience, I feel like you can just make it so creative and so beautiful and so like just vibrant that it's going to be appreciated, not in the same way that like men might see it. Not all of them, but like it's different.
Yeah, it gives your performance more of a multifaceted thing that like you can enjoy. And when it comes to like creative elements, are there ever any issues in the club? Like do some women like claim certain songs, or do some people get pissed with each other if they're like, oh, that's my look and now she's stealing my look? Like, does that ever turn into a thing?
Yes. So I have seen girls get upset about songs for sure. Like, oh, that's what I always dance to. And if you're like a new dancer walking into the club and you just don't know and you play someone's song by accident, like that's not your fault. No one's going to tell you like that's her song. Like maybe don't play that. Same with regular customers, like everyone's regulars who come in. Like if you don't know that someone's regular, it's not your fault you went up to them. But I've definitely seen girls like know, like, okay, that's someone's regular. I'm going to kind of go and try and snag him. But it's kind of like, if you're able to go up and sell something to that customer and he's someone else's regular, was he really your regular, like in the first place? If
Right.
someone was able to walk up and sell. So unless there's a girl sitting with that customer and they're engaged in conversation, everyone is kind of like free game in my eyes. Unless they're distracted by another entertainer, then that's just shitty to walk up and interrupt. But yeah, those are I would say the two main things that cause issues between girls in the club.
Yeah, that makes sense. When did you first decide to get into dancing?
I started dancing when I was either 18 or 19. I always have kind of a hard time with that, figuring out what that timeline was. But it was when I had first moved out to go to college, and I was working at a normal nightclub before. And for people in San Diego, if you guys remember Basement, it was a little just hole in the wall, weird little club. It was kind of a vibe. And I was working the coat section. So I would just like hang up coats and I'd be in the club, and I just wasn't making enough money.
Yeah.
And I went to college for hospitality, and I did something called interdisciplinary studies. So it was a whole bunch of things, but hospitality was one of them. And I knew I wanted to work in clubs. I also was always like in gymnastics. So I just remember working in the club, going back to my dorm and telling my roommate, I'm going to go audition at the strip club. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I am tired of being so broke. And I don't think she thought I was serious.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm just going to like Google. Like, I remember sitting with my laptop and just Googling like strip clubs near me, going to the first one, Expose San Diego. That was where I first started dancing. And it was this little tiny club, but like that club taught me how to hustle because it was slow. So I was in, like, you're able to be in there actually really honing your skills as a dancer. And now I'm like, okay, I definitely credit that slow little club to why I'm like able to sell and stuff nowadays pretty well.
Right. And were you nervous when you first did you have to audition, or did they just let you start working?
They had me audition. I can't remember one thing. Like, I can't remember one thing about the audition, about signing papers. Like, I think I was so nervous that I kind of just like blacked out. And like, I got there, I wasn't like intoxicated or anything. I brought a bikini, like a beach bikini. And I was just kind of like, okay, like, how do I do this? You have to get a license too before in San Diego. And so I kind of just was like, I've already gotten the $700 license. Like,
oh, wow. That's expensive.
That was like all my money basically at that point. Fuck it. Kind of like, what else am I going to do? Like, I wanted to do it. Like, this wasn't me being like, I need to do this in that moment. Like, I just like wanted to do it. I also missed being, this is just like a little random piece of lore, but I always was a cheerleader growing up. And I really like missed that like community in college. I didn't try out for cheer. I didn't want to be in a sorority. And, I rushed for one day and decided that it was not my thing. And that kind of became my like sorority and my like support system. And some of those women, like, genuinely, I'm like, I hope they're doing good out there.
Aww.
Like, I don't keep in touch with a lot of them. There's a lot of times dancers will just go their own ways and you'll never see them again. But like, wherever they're at, I'm just like, yeah, those are the homies.
Aw,
yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. I have a couple of them that I still keep in touch with. My friend Ava came out and danced with me in Vegas last week too. And she's been there like since day one. So some of those girls are still around.
Well, I like to hear that there's some girl on girl support.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton. A lot of my best friends are dancers. And like, I would trust a dancer over a lot of people, honestly. It's not nowadays.
Yeah. I was going to ask, do you think there's a common denominator in the personalities of women that are able to be successful in this industry?
You definitely have to be able to compartmentalize. I think that's a really like good thing, like a good quality to have as a dancer. I think being like a little bit neurodivergent is important too, because you're able to kind of like, I don't know, it's like empathize and understand people maybe that you wouldn't necessarily be just like talking to out on the street. Like, you're able to just sit down and kind of relate to these people and with special interests or, kind of fun facts or things. And having that kind of neurodivergent side and being able to disassociate as well is very useful in the club, like during shitty times, especially.
I bet.
So I think those skills, if they are skills, like I think those are like beneficial to at least my mental health in the club. I don't know. I see a lot of different personality types like in dancers and a lot of different like, okay, I want to like take that little piece of like your hustle and your personality and kind of put that in myself. Or like, okay, I kind of like heard a new line from this girl. I kind of want to use that like in my kind of playbook, you know? So I think there's all different walks of life, but I don't know. I don't know if there's one like common thread between us
Yeah,
all.
that's so interesting. So there's definitely not like a stereotypical dancer. It's all kinds of women.
No, it's all kinds of people. I mean, there's like teachers, there's doctors, like there's lawyers. Like we have all kinds of people that are just like happen to also be dancing in the club. Students, like people who just are wanting to exist and pay their bills. Like it really is just everybody. Especially nowadays with it being less taboo and stuff.
I want to get back to the license you had to get that was $700. What do you think the purpose of that is? Because they have that here in Vegas too, but they call it a sheriff's card.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know for either cities because I know for both cities that people have been able to get through the system with a fake name, fake number, like, and just get their license. And it can be a problem when it comes to like, I don't know if it's a separate license for like the brothels and stuff, but I know that can be a problem with like pimping. Like when I was at the sheriff's station a few weeks ago, there were several people that I was like, I'm concerned that that person maybe is not in a good position. So I don't really know what this is like doing. Like I think it's to keep track. But
right. Or maybe age verification or something like that.
But again, like I've heard stories from women who've gotten their dancer's card and they're 15, 16, 17.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're slipping through the cracks somehow. I don't know what crack, like, because I was in there and it seemed pretty locked down, but it's happening somehow. Check out the Secrets of Bunny Ranch documentary.
No, I just watched that.
Okay.
Yes.
So one of the girls talks about it, like saying like, I was able to go get my sheriff's card and I was 16 years old and used a fake name and it's supposed to be this thing that protects us. And I actually asked when I was there, I was like, what are these for? And they said it was so in case we commit a crime. So I don't know if it's like more for that or more for trafficking or what. But yeah, I know all the non-gaming people have to get them. So even if you're just like working in the casino too. And then San Diego, it's like specifically a stripper license, like adult entertainer permit. So I don't really know what their purpose is besides just more dollars.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to look into that.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Did your perception of the industry change after you joined?
I don't know if I had any perception prior to getting into dancing because I was so young. And honestly, my only perception of sex work was movies and media. But there was no like TikTok when I started to kind of like normalize it a little bit for me. So I think my perception is always changing in this industry. Every year, especially when I'm doing new things and talking to new people who are like adjacent to this industry, I'm given new perspectives. And every time I travel dance, I'm seeing new things, whether they're really good or really dark and bad. And so always I'm kind of like, it's adapting a little bit all of the time. Always I'm kind of like feeling, oh, like things are getting like better or like, okay, like in this way, things are getting worse. Like it kind of all goes back to management. Like I've just seen some really strange management over the last year.
What's some of the weirdest things you've seen?
So there, and I can't name any names, but there is a club that the manager basically has girls come in and if they won't like sleep with him and it'll be just specific random girls, he will be just not let them work at the club.
Oh my God.
And that's like a very well-known thing. Like if there are dancers watching this, especially in Las Vegas, they probably know who I'm talking about. And it's just like for everyone to know about that and it just be like rampant.
Right.
But that's a big problem, things like that. Or a lot of times clubs will want to bring in dancers from other countries. And I don't know if that's like like how that kind of works. And I've kind of like seen some things where I'm just like, okay, like these women don't speak English and you're having them sign contracts in English. And like, I don't know, like it just,
that's very trafficky.
It gives off red flags in my head when I'm like, okay, like this is not like accessible to someone who is not like English is not their first language. So those things kind of give off red flags. I recently got certified as like a domestic violence and sexual assault counselor. And I'm kind of like learning new red flags for trafficking things too. But I would say like a lot of the traffic, not that it doesn't happen in the clubs, but a lot of it's happening over social media nowadays. So yeah, it's bad all around.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the red flags people should look out for if they think they might be being lured into something?
Oh yeah, like if you're the one being lured in. Okay, yes, this is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's a bad problem and it can happen from other dancers, from people you think are friends, from someone's boyfriend, from management, from a whole entire club, like a photo shoot, a photographer, like any of these people you meet can be a kind of guide into trafficking. And a lot of times it's people you wouldn't even expect that are getting these girls into trafficking, or men. I would say look out for people who are making a lot of promises, like a lot of opportunities when they come into the club. And I mean like the pimps, when they're coming into the club, a lot of times they are promising you a boob job or a new car, or I'm going to take you out of the club and you're never going to have to work here again. But they don't tell you what else you're going to be doing instead. Or it'll be, let me take you travel dancing. We're going to go down to my club in some random place. And then as they're going to do that trip, they're able to like kind of take control of these women. There's a movie called Zola that talks about this too. And it's like a real life scenario of trafficking happening through travel dancing. Wow. So I think that's like kind of a good movie to check out if anyone wants some like insight into how quickly this happens.
It's very common. There's a really common thing here in Vegas where guys like pimps will just like hang out at gas stations and they're looking for like 16-year-olds who might be fighting with their parents and trying promise them things. And my first house I bought here in Vegas when I moved here like 15 years ago was down in Southern Highlands, and I'd always get gas at like the neighborhood gas station. It's just like a very like quote unquote like nice looking suburban neighborhood. And people would approach me. And at the time I was like 30 years old driving a Porsche. Like, what do you think I need from you? But like they're down there just hustling and just like, watch out. Like when your daughter gets her driver's license, like tell her what's up, because they're just waiting at the gas stations. It's gross.
Gas stations, malls, like gas stations are so bad. Like it's gas stations in particular. It's one of the most dangerous places to be for a woman, just in general. Malls are also really bad about trafficking. Churches, unfortunately, which really sad, but it's just the sad truth. Clubs, like honestly, anywhere, social media, like nowadays, it's so scary. So I'm like, just don't, if anything sounds too good to be true, it probably is, like, unless you've verified this and it's, you know, you have a close, trusted friend who can verify whatever they're trying to promise you. But even with friends, like that's grooming exists where people will make friendships with you, get you close to them, and then trafficking can happen that way too.
Yeah, a lot of male predators will have women working for them, and, you know, because that makes other women feel more comfortable. So you got to watch out for that too.
Exactly.
It's a lot.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, kind of with like the Jeffrey and the Ghislaine stuff, like he had her out, you know, because she was more trustworthy. She's a woman.
Yeah.
It's a woman. I don't have any reason to be like worried. A lot of times pregnant women with babies will, not a lot of times, but sometimes they will be traffickers because they look approachable.
Yeah.
So, like, and this is like real life cases that like I studied during my training. So it's like, it sounds a little bit like fear-mongery, but at the same time, like that's what they want you to think. So that way you're more susceptible to being manipulated.
Yeah.
I would say, just look out for those like uneven power dynamics. Like if someone isn't speaking up for themselves, if there are like old and new bruises, that's also like a common thing, especially with domestic violence. There's like endless signs. And I would just say, use your best discretion. Like if you feel like something isn't right, I don't really know what the answer is. I was just talking about this with my partner. Like, what is the answer? Like, how do we communicate with people who are actively being trafficked in front of you without making them in a dangerous position?
Oh, it's so hard. I think about that all the time with like friends in abusive relationships. It's really hard to get them out, because sometimes they don't realize they want out, and it's a hard thing. People ask me that all the time. They're like, because I do a true crime show, and some of the victims unfortunately were, killed by their partners, and I get asked that on press tours all the time. What do you do if you have a friend in this situation? And it's something I talk about with people all the time, because there's not really an easy answer. Keep lines of communication open with your friends, offer a no judgment space, offer your home if you want to come stay with me anytime. It's the best things I can think of, but it's hard to get people away from those people sometimes. They're just so in a clouded perception.
Yeah. I will say a lot of cities, I know Vegas is good about this, San Diego and LA too. There's a lot of crisis centers where you can call, and a lot of them are 24-hour hotlines where you can get resources like immediately, or at least these people can help you talk through a safety plan. So like in that exact moment, maybe you're calling in the heat of something happening, but you don't want to call 911 because you don't want law enforcement involved. That's always an option. And I don't know what Vegas's like number is for that, but I could figure it out and get it to you in case you want to
throw it on screen right now.
Just in case, because you never know. Someone could be watching and they're in a situation where it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to leave, but I'm thinking maybe like it's time. And so they can help you walk through safety plans if you're wanting to leave, but maybe can't in that exact moment and need to keep yourself safe just for the time being. So there are resources for people who are going through that more now than ever, fortunately, especially with all the cuts happening. So a lot of volunteers out there working those lines and stuff.
And I don't know why this just popped into my head out of nowhere, so I feel like I need to say it in case somebody needs to hear. But even if you are in a situation with a relationship that you feel like is bad and you're scared to call one of those centers because you feel like it might be a false alarm or you don't want to waste anybody's time, call anyway. Just call anyway. If it's a waste of time, they'll be happy it's a waste of time. You know what I mean?
It's never a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's never a waste of time. To get into these centers, often people need to go through something called crisis intervention training. I just did it. It was 60 plus hours of training in a very intense setting. Like you're hearing and discussing and like really hands-on with these really horrific things. Wow. So they want to be there helping you. Like these are not just people that like need some volunteer hours who signed on. No, like these people have probably been through not the same situation, but similar. And that's why they're there. Because they're like, I didn't have these resources at first. Now I want to be that resource for other people. So never think that it's a waste of time. Like that is just the system and society making you feel that way because they want to make people out to be weak or just ignore the problem or just, maybe it's your fault. No, it's never your fault ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Always call if you feel like you need to call.
Even if you just want to discuss, like, is this maybe like a problem? Like, I'm not sure if this is abuse. Like, they'll help you figure it out. And no one's going to call and call the police on you. No one's going to like come
tattle.
No one will do that. So it's very safe. We'll have to look into some of the resources out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to plug those for sure. Yeah. Do you consider dancing more of a performance job or more of a sales job?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, man. So it's definitely both, but I would say it's a lot of performance. But now I want to say it's more sales because you're selling that fantasy. So you're getting ready, you're going out there and the sale is like the performance of it too. Like I have to sit here and perform to these men. I'm a lesbian. So it's like I have to sit here and pretend to be interested in like, rubbing up on these guys. And not that I dislike it or anything. I love what I do. Like, I think it's a great time. But, like, it's having to sell that is kind of like a performance in itself for me.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
So the whole thing is a performance entirely for me. It's all a fantasy. But that's, like, the fun part of it. Like, I get to go be this, like, dream girl for a few hours. And it's a fun identity to have.
And what do you think separates the high earners and the low earners in the industry? What personality traits?
Definitely experience has something to do with it, but there is a very real thing called baby dancer luck where you're new in the club. A lot of the regulars haven't seen you yet, so they all want to get dances with you. I always get worried about that though with baby dancers when I see them going back with like a creepy guy or something. I'm they just don't know.
Right.
I'm like trying to run like in slow motion. Stop. But I think the top earners definitely are out on the floor talking to people. Like don't hide back on your phone in the dressing room. Like, make those connections. You don't necessarily have to be promoting yourself on social media to do well in the clubs. But I think in order to feature nowadays, you do need to be. Girls who are also able to kind of like turn rude assholes like into an opportunity to like earn money. Like, don't just, if someone's being rude to you, always like stand up for yourself, but like you can do it in a way that's kind of like you're throwing it back at them, but you're kind of giving them a little like attitude and they like it. Like,
that's so interesting.
Yeah. So you kind of just want to have a really good mouthpiece on you is what I say. Like, just be able to kind of like quick, like come back with something in a joking way, but you're also maybe able to kind of like stick it to them a little bit in that moment. So you're not feeling like, oh, I'm just letting myself be walked all over. But it's just you have to just keep the money in your mind throughout these interactions. And like, that's the end goal here. It's really just that.
Yeah.
So the girls who stay focused, the girls who stay sober or know their limits too in the club. And like, that goes for all substances across the board. And then I would just say people who have like their goal in mind. Like, what are you in there doing? Like, are you doing this because you need to like pay rent? Great. Like, keep that in the back of your mind. Are you doing this because you want to go on a great trip and you're maybe working extra shifts? Like, remember that throughout your shift, or it's easy to get like, be here, like my feet hurt. And also like some top earners will have amazing, incredible nights. And then there's also the top earners that are having like really shitty nights too. And you're walking around and there's just all these baddies sitting on the couch and no one's making money. So every dog like has their day though. Even every low earner, which is like, I think just through experience, you'll be able to raise that up. But every low earner also has their like $1,000 night too.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what expenses do dancers have that people do not realize?
Basically everything you see on us, unless they're feature performing and get those like travel dance costs and food or hotel covered. Everything you see is being paid for by a dancer, unless you get a really good client who's like able to just pay for all your supplies or whatever. But nails, hair, if you're getting your hair done, outfits, heels. A lot of girls get like spray tans, so they look all bronzed on stage. Pole classes, if you choose to take pole classes, everything like just makeup. So anything that goes into just looking cute, we pay for, but a lot of it's write-offs too at the end of the year. I don't think like makeup and nails are, but costumes and things like that, gas to work, that's all a write-off. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like just a normal job, you know.
And what is stripper spaghetti? Because you made a detail, you made a bunch of videos where you were shopping for stripper spaghetti, but I don't think you ever said what it was. And I think I figured it out what it was by looking in the comments. But what is it?
I felt so bad because I went back and saw the comments later, and I was like, I never said anything about what it was. I'm just walking around saying stripper spaghetti.
It's probably good engagement though, because like I was searching all the videos and all the comments, like, what is it though?
What is it? I'll have to bring you one at some point. I have so many stripper spaghettis now. Since that video, I have like 50 million now. It's basically a garter strap that just has like long strings attached to it, so you can just like wrap it around your legs.
Oh, okay.
Cute, like for, I don't know. I see a lot of festival girls do it.
Yeah.
But I saw this one dancer at my club do that with the spaghettis, and it made her legs just look so like long and like Barbie-like. I was like, okay, I need to try these for a feature performance.
That's fun.
And yeah, that's what they are.
What has dancing taught you about men?
Throw rocks at them. Like I no, just kidding. I'm very grateful for men like funding my career and things like that. Like I have to be so apparent or like clear about that and forthcoming with that, because I am grateful and appreciative. However, there have been some things that I'm just like, are you like on the same wavelength as like the rest of humanity right now? Just with the groping and with, I just have this like vision that just popped into my head where I'll be like giving a lap dance and I'm sitting on the guy and they're like trying to get their neck towards me as hard as they can to lick me. And I'm like fully
God,
having my hands like this on this guy's chest, trying to be cute, like, like giving them a dance, holding them back. And they're like craning their neck towards you, trying to get their tongue to, it's like the most.
I'm picturing like a creature.
That's what it's like. Like that's what, in those moments, that's when I'm kind of like, you're being like an animal right now.
Yeah.
Like this is like very animalistic of you right now to be that biting for some reason happens a lot with the guys. Why? I don't know. So it's just taught me that they really like are not up to date with like maybe what we enjoy. Because I'll say like, oh no, like please don't do that. Why? Well, because we don't like that. But like I thought you did. And I'm like, well, either you didn't have a partner that's like spoke up about that, or she was into that or whatever, or you saw that in porn and you wanted to try it out in the club. Like that's usually what it is. Guys coming in with fake money. That happens sometimes.
Stop it right now.
Yes.
Ew.
Also, just there'll be guys that come in and it's made me realize like I do think everyone's a little bit gay. Like honestly, because there are a lot of guys that come in the club that want to impress other men in the club. And I guess not that makes you gay. Maybe that's like a little bit of a reach there, but it's maybe more of an ego thing, like where they just like, I don't know, they want to be throwing more money than the guy next to them, or they want to kind of like have control over a specific dancer. I don't want her dancing with anyone else. Like it's just like the egos get out of control sometimes.
Yeah. I bet you notice some really interesting patterns with customers.
Yeah. They all want to, or they'll like be putting dancers down in order to impress their friends sitting next to them. And I'm just like,
that's the worst.
God, like, what are we doing here? Like,
ew. Who's the creepiest customer that's ever come into a club? What did they do?
Oh, I have a couple, but the one that comes to mind, and you'll see why I had to very much so rapidly stop seeing this person and let the club know not to let him back in. But I had a customer a few years ago that was just a big, like buff, white guy, bald guy. Honestly, he was not unattractive. He was not like old. Like I want to say he was like probably in his like mid 40s. So pretty young guy. And like, he was like pretty cute. Like I remember just thinking like, okay, he's like not the typical like strip club customer. Like they're all usually a little bit old.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he wants to get a private room. We go back in the room and he asked me, do you like black people? And I was like, yes. Like, what do you mean? Like, do I like black people? And he was like, oh, okay. So I'm just kind of like, and then I'm kind of thinking about it and I'm like, okay, bald white guy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And a couple minutes go by. I'm getting more and more uncomfortable because I'm starting to like be worried that like, okay, is there some weird white power thing going on here? And I don't remember what he asked me, but he basically asked me if he could show me something on his back, pulls his shirt up, and from the top of his shoulders to the top of his butt is a giant swastika.
Ugh.
Tattooed.
Yeah.
And so I remember just kind of being like, okay, like this was at the end of the dance, thank gosh. And let the club know immediately, like, hey, like this guy is like, no, like we can't be having this guy in the club. And I think he tried to come back in one more time. This was a couple years ago, so I can't totally recall. But yeah, that was really creepy. A lot of guys that'll come in and be like, oh, you remind me of like my granddaughter or things like that.
No.
Or they'll come in and they'll want to talk about their wife in a really like shitty way. I really can't do that.
That sucks.
Or they smell really bad.
Oh.
We have really bad stinkers.
No.
Yeah. So my favorite, I really like just a really nerdy guy or like an older guy or just someone that wants to just like hang out and they have good hygiene. That's literally all I ask for. Like, that's all.
Hygiene is something else. When I worked at Hooters in college, there was a girl who worked there that said back when she worked at a different store, there was this guy who came in regularly that they called Mr. Poopy Pants. So he'd come to the bar and he would order the peel and eat shrimp, but he wouldn't peel the casing off the shrimp. He would just eat all of it. And then he would sit at the bar and like shit his pants all day.
Oh.
And I assume they must have been smelling it. Yeah. That's how they knew, but.
And he just sat there drinking and shitting all day. I feel like that's what people are doing in casinos sometimes.
At the slot machines?
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Because they'll be there all, like I'll leave for a shift if I'm working out here. Well, I won't mention where I stay, but I love to stay in a casino. And I'll leave for a shift and I'll come back and there'll be like the same people in the same spaces sometimes. And I'm like, okay, there's no way like you're not pooping yourself a little bit.
I've heard rumors that sometimes people wear Depends to like sit at a slot machine all day.
At least that's something. Yeah. I'm like, okay, like not that that's the best thing, but I'm like, okay, at least we're not like pooping on the seat.
Yeah. Do you think customers, when they come in, are looking for fantasy, validation, or connection more than anything?
I would say actually they're probably coming in for connection, um, anonymity, like the
Mhm.
ability to just kind of like say whatever is on their mind, or like the weirdest fantasies they've ever had. Or I do get a lot of guys that come in and actually come out as gay to me, and they
Oh,
can't
wow.
do that to anyone or say that to anyone else in their life for some reason or another. They feel like they can't do that.
Yeah.
So it depends on every guy. Some guys, they're really just there to get their rocks off, and
Mhm.
that's whatever. And not that we necessarily provide that service, but sometimes it happens without me
Whether
even
anybody's
touching
trying
them.
to or not.
Yeah. So there's that. They don't even want to talk to you. They just want you to dance on them. And sometimes they'll even have their eyes closed like the whole time, which is funny. And some guys want you to sit next to them and just talk to them.
Mhm.
And they want to just talk about their life. Or like the sweetest customers are like the old guy customers that come in and are like, my wife and I like had an amazing marriage, and they want to talk about their life with her. And she's usually past at this point,
Aw.
but they're like, I just want to like talk to a pretty girl for an hour. Like I
Aw.
just I haven't talked to a woman in so many years. I just want to like have someone listen to me. Like a lot of these guys don't have anyone to listen to them, or being emotional is weak. So like I have guys crying into my boobs
Aw.
sometimes. Yeah, like it's honestly like I'll come out of some experiences and I'm like, I was just a therapist.
Right. I
Like
was gonna say it's
definitely.
like part therapy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I there's not one above all, but definitely a mixture of all of it in every
Yeah.
night. Yeah. You'll go from being like bitten and licked like unconsensually to like being someone's therapist in the next moment.
What do you think is the biggest emotional challenge of the job?
I have a really hard time when I go through nights where I feel like men are wanting everything and more
Mhm.
from me. They want full on, full service when that's not something I'm wanting to offer, or they're wanting just whatever sexual
Mhm.
action, but they don't want to pay you hardly any money for it. And then you just have a shitty night full of men who have been like trying to violate your boundaries all night
Oh.
long. And then sometimes you leave the club with $0 or negative dollars. It's possible to leave with negative
I
dollars.
wanted to ask about that too. What are the policies for like tipping out at the club, or what do you have to pay the club? You made a really great video about red flags and green flags when you come to a different club. Can you tell people what some of those are and get into what a dancer has to pay sometimes?
Yeah, so it is different at every single club. Honestly, that's going to be my answer for a lot of things, because
Mhm.
it really is so far like and different like with every single club that it's hard to make a generalization. But there's house fees, so that's what you pay to just be in the space, and that depends usually on what time you get to the club. So I've seen it charge anywhere from $20 if you get there
Mhm.
like early in the night to like $200 at some clubs.
Wow.
Sometimes it's worth it because you'll get in there and make a lot of money.
Mhm.
And sometimes they're just trying to keep the lights on through
Yeah.
having the dancers pay for keeping the lights
Wow.
on. And then when you sell dances, typically clubs will take between like 10 to 50% of that dance sale. I obviously think 50, 40%, any of that is way too high, way too
Mhm.
high. You'll tip out that to usually just a couple of staff, like DJ or the doorman. And maybe if someone else has helped you out throughout the night, like a host or a bartender, you always want to throw them a little money too.
Mhm.
Like anyone who's been helping you out, you do want to give them money, but the club also does like kind of mandate, like, okay, this percentage of your dances you have to give back to us. And yeah, it can get a little bit nasty sometimes with some of these guys, like feeling like you didn't tip them out enough,
Oh.
or oh, I like you sold this many amount of dances tonight. Like, shouldn't you be tipping me out more? Like, kind of pocket watching you a little bit.
Oh.
So that's kind of like just again, it depends on the club though.
Mhm.
Like and it doesn't necessarily make it a bad club if like you're having to tip out. Just kind of depends on how much.
When you first arrive at a new club, what are the green flags that make you think this is a great place to work potentially?
I really like when management does not know who I am.
Mhm.
A lot of times they don't, because a lot of times they're like just middle-aged guys that aren't really on TikTok. Because then I can get a really good gauge on how the club actually operates. Like I kind of feel like undercover boss when I'm like
Yeah.
going in. And some green flags are just like being polite and
Mhm.
kind, and being very forthcoming with exactly, like, I love a list of like exactly all of the terms and policies of the club, the prices of everything. Like, when clubs try and have me in there and they're not wanting to be forthcoming about pricing until I've already signed everything, that's weird to me, because then they turn around and are like, okay, yeah, it's 50% cut. That happened to me recently, and I kind of learned my lesson that way. Like, okay, I need to be very like, we need to have a little sit down meeting before I'm signing anything. Yeah, I think just honestly, just not being a creep either.
Yeah.
Like, not trying to be like sexual with the girls coming to audition or anything like that. Like, no, like that's just, no, please don't cross that line as management.
Have you ever found yourself in a scary or dangerous situation at a club?
Yeah, I definitely have been in a lot of situations where I've had to physically force men off of me.
Wow.
Like with all of my strength.
Oh
Like,
my God.
and it's like, it's very normal, honestly, at a lot of clubs, and it shouldn't be normalized. It shouldn't be something that happens, but it is something that happens a lot, where it's like, these guys get you back in a room. A lot of times security isn't the best about watching cameras or walking around and making sure girls are okay. And you're in a little bikini, they're like squeezing your butt cheek one minute, and then they're trying to like stick something in the next minute, or like they're trying to pull your outfit off. Like, I've had guys try and pull my outfit off, and then I have my nipples pierced. Next thing I know, my nipples bleeding because they've just like
Oh my
tugged
God.
the piercing really bad. So a lot of instances with that. And I've been very fortunate not to have like any stalker situations that have gotten too crazy. I really haven't had any like super overly violent situations. I'm like, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But I'm sober when I go dance. I smoke a little bit of weed, but I don't drink. I really, now that I'm 8 years into the industry, like, I'm really like, just like, I feel like I'm tunnel vision on the mission. Not that bad things can't happen even when you're like that, but I think kind of like having more experience and being able to like almost know things before they happen. Nowadays, I'm like, okay, like, things are getting a little bit better, but worse at the same time because shit's weird in the world.
Right.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's an interesting time we're in right now, like, where there's kind of a revolution happening and kind of not at the same time.
Yeah. How does that manifest itself in the industry with things getting weird in a bad way?
Less customers overall in the club. So things just get like, girl, you need money. Like, girls need money to pay their bills, or to pay for their kids' daycare, or to pay for their dog surgery or whatever. And so it just manifests as like less money in the club overall, a little bit more cattiness sometimes because people are stressed. And that's kind of when the stealing the regulars comes in sometimes.
Yeah.
Or that's when things can get dangerous too, because people need money. Creepy people are aware of that. So they're going to want to push boundaries because they know people need money right now. So that's also how it manifests. And just like wanting more for less. Like, I want to get the $100 dance, but I want you to also be topless, and I want to be able to touch you wherever. And it's like, nobody, like, like, come on now. Like, I have to give $30 of this up to the club anyways. Like, I'm not letting you do that for $70. So yeah, just a lot of like it just feels like wading through the mud sometimes in the club right now.
Yeah. Do you feel like strip clubs are like a harbinger of things to come economically?
Oh, and I get asked this a lot, and I think it's like very interesting because yes and no, like with all these questions, yes and no, and like lots of nuance to it. And I think there's always going to be people interested in strip clubs and sex work and that kind of like aspect of what are they doing and like what's going on in there. But I think that like, yeah, we're gonna start seeing things start to go down and more online and more kind of.
I've heard people say that they notice like when business slows in a strip club, they're like, oh, the economy's about to dip.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's just with all entertainment too. So yes. But then at the same time, like same with the casinos, like people will go in and spend their last dollar. So I'm kind of like, I don't know really. Because because people are addicted to sex or gambling or just connection or whatever. So they'll go into debt in the club just to get another hour
Or sometimes need the escape when things are bad.
100%. And that's like one of my favorite things about the strip club is it is like totally an escape, similar to a casino. There's no clocks, there's no windows hardly.
Mhm.
Like it really is one of those places where you can get away from the world. And I love spaces like that. Like
Yeah.
I love spaces like I kind of feel like we're in one right now a little bit.
Yeah. Is there a word for a space like that? Because it's not a liminal space. It's not that exactly. It's not a back room.
I'm obsessed with liminal spaces.
It's
like
not
back
just
rooms.
another third space. It's something very specific. We need a name for it if there's not one already.
I was calling it a third space for a while, but it's not because it's not free,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it is a third space because I think a third space is anywhere you go that's not work or home, but it's a specific within that.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the third space.
And it's not like super liminal because it's got like all the lights and the energy and stuff in there.
But there's something about it when you're like cut off from the outside world.
Yeah.
What do you feel like dancing has done for your self-esteem over the years, for better or worse, or how does it affect it?
Honestly, it's made it a lot better. I've always I've never been shy, but I've been very like ADHD kid my whole entire life, even as an adult. Like I have a lot of like energy that needs to be harnessed. And a lot of it is kind of like that neurodivergency and also just like me, I guess, as like a person. And so I think it's kind of allowed me to put that energy into like an active job where I can literally be like burning off energy as I'm working. So it's made me feel more like capable of things, honestly. Like instead of just like sitting at my job or standing at my little coat thing at the other club, like I'm actually like being active. And then it's also made me more confident for sure and more empowered 100%. I know not everyone has that experience with it, but personally, I feel like there's not a thing I cannot do. There's not a weird person I cannot handle at this point. Like I feel a little bit more able to keep myself safe too, just in terms of like self-defense. And I feel like I can really not judge people, but like be a really good judge of like, maybe this is not a safe person to be around. Just based off that like heart gut instinct. Like I'll feel it like literally in my cooch. Like, oh, like that is not a good person to be around. And then just trusting that. And I'm really trying to learn how to actually trust that instead of ignore that this year. It's hard because I want to like everybody and I want everyone to be good, but I am learning that is not the case.
I know. Like, sometimes it's unmistakable.
Yeah. And it sucks. Like, especially with people I admire, I'm just like this week I learned someone I love is not who I thought they were. And I'm just like,
I'm sorry. I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
Or like when you find out a close friend is a liar and then you're like, everything I heard from that person that I believed, I have to go back and like reframe in my mind.
Like literally like, okay, like instant replay to everything that's ever been said. Like, is anything true anymore? Yeah, I can't with that.
It's the worst.
So stressful.
Is there a fine line between feeling empowered and objectified in your industry?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really, it's hard because it's like, I'm trying to think of like, what even is like the definition of being like objectified? I guess literally being an object in someone's eyes.
I guess I mean it like in a way that can feel negative.
Yes. Like when people try and obviously like just grab you however they want, name calling, making you the butt of joke in front of friends, like that feels very objectifying. That is not an empowering moment. What I will say though is like, I've had that bullshit happen at all my like square jobs too. And in none of those jobs have I been able to like just kind of dig in on those assholes.
Yeah,
I would be fired.
Yeah.
So in a way, like, I mean, you can't stand there and start like beating anybody up, but like you can definitely kind of tell someone off for being a dick to you. And I think in that way, it's kind of like taking back that control because you are in a mostly safe space with security where like if you were to yell at a guy for catcalling you on the street or saying some disgusting thing to you on the street, something dangerous could happen.
Right.
Whereas I kind of got like my dudes behind me who like are literally going to throw someone out if they're deciding to be, you know, too much. So in that way, it's kind of like taking that back a little bit. And then also just taking back the idea of like like slut shaming and
Yeah.
like, oh, like, you know, not being covered up and like that idea of like purity culture. It's like, no, like screw that. Like I want my like boobies out and flopping around everywhere. So kind of like that like body positivity aspect
Yeah.
of it too. So yeah, I think just confidence overall for sure.
How do you separate your stage persona from who you are in real life?
That's getting harder and harder for me. At first, it was very easy because I did not have a social media platform and I could just go to work, drop off the heels when I get home at the door, and that's it. Like, and then I can just do my life or whatever. But now, because of social media, those lines are starting to blend a lot because I'll be in public and it's, you know, someone today was like, oh my God, charm. And in that moment, I kind of have to be like back into that role.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really have kind of moved away from trying to have a different persona in the club. I tried to do that for a really long time, and it's really exhausting.
Yeah, I bet.
And when I have just brought my actual self and like been my literal, just actual self talking about things I want to talk about to these people, then I kind of attract the type of clientele that is similar to me. And people similar to me don't want to be like weird, creepy gropers. So then it kind of like is attracting clients that aren't weird, that'll spend money, that'll talk about things I want to talk about or are interested in similar things.
Are there certain strip clubs that are more sought after to work at? Like, are there ones that are like harder to land a space at that everybody's like, I want to get to this place because that's where you make so much money?
Yeah, I would say like a lot of people really like Sapphire out here in Las Vegas because it's a huge club. Out in Florida, I know there's like Tootsie's, again, another huge club. LA, I don't know if there's any super like sought after ones. I think things are rough in LA right now for the dancers.
For everything.
Yeah. And so I'm not sure on clubs up there, but there's always like one club that everyone's like, I really want to work at that one. That's the best one. And rarely is that the case.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. I have had better experiences in more of like the hole in the wall clubs, or like out here specifically kind of the clubs. I think my favorite club out here is Palomino, but I think that one's like kind of off the strip a little bit. Like those kind of not hole in the wall, but like they're not in the middle of the glitz and glamour.
Or not
like,
the most advertised necessarily.
No, those ones are the best clubs because it's not super oversaturated with dancers. You can kind of just get in there. It's not too chaotic. I get really overstimulated sometimes if there's like a ton of people. So I like those kind of more chill, like gentlemen's club vibes.
Yeah.
Or I love gentlemen's clubs, but there's gentlemen's clubs and then there's like booty shaking clubs.
Yeah.
And I love them both like equally, honestly. Like they both have a place in my heart. I love making noise up on stage at a booty club for sure.
Yeah. Do you ever have to deal with any judgment from society for your job, or do you feel like there's anything you're shut out from because of what you do?
Yeah, I definitely struggled with this with my family for a while, and in some ways still really am, with kind of like confusion around my job, or just like, why are you doing, like, we gave you everything, like, why are you doing this, you know, or you went to college, like, why are you doing stripping and like social media and stuff like that? And that kind of comes from like everyone. And then also I get the judgment of like, if it's so bad, if there's assault happening, like, why do you still do it? And at the end of the day, I really enjoy it. And society definitely judges the shit out of you. But it's like, if I'm enjoying what I do, I'm kind of just like, definitely learned to just be like, I don't care what you guys think. Like all of these people who are judging probably just want to get up on stage and dance in a little thong and heels. And I don't blame them. It's really fun. And it's fun to, you know, learn pole and stuff. So, as far as being shut out from things too, yes, I love volunteering. I tried to volunteer somewhere that accused me of legally pimping myself out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was trying to work with like an anti-trafficking group, and yeah, that was
that's
what was
really
told to me.
interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
oh my God,
just fully taking away the autonomy from trafficking victims, because consensual sex work and trafficking are obviously two very different things. So I think that's another problem is society misunderstanding it as trafficking when that's really causing more harm to see it that way. There is trafficking in the clubs. Is every girl being trafficked in the clubs? No.
Yeah.
But is there actual trafficking happening? Yes. Like, let's focus on that instead of like anti-sex work or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you cope with a slow night?
Oh, I scroll on TikTok. I make videos with my girlfriend. I like to eat at the club. So I'll like, especially when it gets slow, I'm like snacking on chips or cookies or just whatever I bring in. Smoke a little weed with my friends and just kind of laugh. Like we'll all just start laughing in the back room. Like or not the back room, in the dressing room. Like everyone's a little stoned. It's late at night. Everyone's talking about their shitty customers. And it's so ridiculous that sometimes you just like you can only laugh or you're gonna cry. Yeah, that's kind of how you gotta cope. You just gotta go through it.
Is burnout common in the industry?
I'm definitely going through it a little bit right now. Which is I was so excited to come here because I feel like the energy is being poured back into me to not feel burned out from your energy personally. Just because like you have to be on all the time, especially with social media. Like I know you get it, like having to set up the camera and talk. Like sometimes that's so hard.
Yeah, some days because I have flat effect and I just will be really flat some days and I'll try to like record an intro to something and I just can't get it out. And it's like, oh my God, not one of these days.
I do the same thing. Or I'll do like where I just have so much like going through my head where I'm like, okay, it's all going to just come out as word vomit.
Do you feel like this job can lend itself to certain mental health challenges?
Definitely. I think if people are prone to any sort of addiction, like you can be addicted to anything. This can be a really hard job for you. It can be hard for me in that way sometimes because I've struggled with addiction in the past. So that can definitely be like, that can be exacerbated when you have a full bar in the club and people are buying you drinks, or sometimes you have to sell drinks and you got to drink them. So it's like, it can definitely like quite literally be forced down your throat to like, all right, now I'm an alcoholic suddenly. And I just was drinking at work and now it's this.
Do people ever do the thing where they have a deal with the bartender where it's like, okay, this guy can buy me a drink, but pour something fake?
Yes. Yeah. So usually if there's a club with a bar, that's like one of my first questions because it'll be like, okay, either you have to make drink sales or if the customer buys you a drink, you have to say yes. Like they want to just make the drink sales at the end of the day. So I'll usually talk to whoever's working and I just emphasize like, I do not drink alcohol. Like, please do not give me alcohol. I will tip you. Like, just put a little Shirley Temple or something or spray and something just to make it look a little carbonated, like it's actually alcohol. There have been times where guys will pour shots and they all want to take shots and they're all sitting there looking at me waiting to take a shot. And I will just have to kind of like act like I'm doing it and start like shaking some ass or something as a distraction.
Yeah.
And then I'll just toss it over my shoulder.
Yeah.
That's it. So there's ways around it. And if I have to put it up to my lip or whatever, it's fine. But I'm not taking a shot anymore. Those days are behind me.
How long do most dancers stay in the industry? Have you noticed? Is that something where people feel like they have an expiration date, or do some people just want to keep doing it as long as they can do it?
So there's this phrase that goes around in the industry that like you stop dancing at 25 or that's like retirement age. And it was quoted in a stripper show. And now that has become like, okay, 25, like that's retirement age for a stripper. That's not true. I met a woman who was 48 or 49 and like literally one of the most like baddie women I've ever seen in my life, making so much money. I saw her a couple weeks ago at another Vegas club. And like you would have never guessed for a second that this woman was like a day over 30. Not that that matters because the women who also like kind of wear their age are making money. So I think that sometimes isn't totally the case. Like, oh, only it's like young girls in there. But I would say most people stay in the industry either like really fast, like they're in and out and they decide it's not for them, maybe a few months to a year, or they're in it kind of like me where it's like, I'm coming up on 10 years now, which is crazy. And I thought at first, okay, I'm going to do this through college. Went through college, got a job in another nightclub, hated it again, like just didn't like it again, wasn't making any money, couldn't like kind of not throw it back. That sounds like I'm twerking on my management, but like throw back like rude comments that like management was giving me, like how I could at the club, or like, talking to clients in the club that are being way too intoxicated. And I'm able to kind of like, be pissed at them and just be like, no, like, screw you, don't talk to me like that. I couldn't do that in these normal little nightclubs. And so I was just like, okay, like I really miss the club. Like I really miss dancing on stage. I love dancing on stage. I love selling dances. Like, let me just get back in this. And that's when my like 5-year plan kind of was just like, let me not do that with stripping. Let me do that with goals instead.
Right.
Instead of my career. Like, okay, I want to have a house. Bought my house last year. Now what's next? I don't really know. I'm still figuring that out. But like kind of just like focusing on that instead of like, I want to be done by this time.
Tell me about your therapy training, because I saw you make a video on it before, and you're training as a SART. And I know you already said in this interview earlier on, what does that stand for? Tell us again what it stands for.
So it is a sexual assault response team is what SART stands for. And I'm a SART advocate specifically. So basically, when somebody is assaulted and they choose to come to the hospital or to the community crisis center, or they just need resources, they will call me and I will go meet them at the hospital, and I will stand with their survivor while they're going through their exams. I talk to them before law enforcement does. So I make sure, like they know all their rights. They know like, okay, you can't be told this or forced into having an exam, or you're not forced to press charges or anything like that. Make sure they consent to even having an exam in the first place. And then I kind of just sit with them or stand with them, or if they don't want me there, I'm not there. I'll hold a hand. It's like sometimes in these situations. I just went through the training, so I haven't done a ton with it yet. But yeah, if someone's upset or uncomfortable, or maybe like a tool isn't feeling good and they need a break, like I can kind of like communicate that to a nurse. Or if they're talking to law enforcement and law enforcement's being a little bit too intense, I can communicate that too and kind of, oh, can we take a break? Let's go get some water. Like, so I just sit there as an advocate. And that's all volunteer based, which is very interesting to me. Like, I'm like, it's so interesting that we have like volunteer advocates. Like, I think it's because of like funding, like budget cuts and stuff. But yeah, so that's what I do. I went through crisis intervention training, and it's I hate calling it fun because it's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean? Where it's like, it feels very fulfilling. Like, as someone who, I was assaulted as a teenager. So I am able to kind of like, it's very cathartic.
It's needed.
Yeah, it is. And it's healing for my own self too. I hope that it's a little selfish, but it's like also like, okay, I'm going to help you heal. I'm going to heal myself at the same time.
Yeah.
And 60.5 hours of training. So
wow,
I feel professional.
Yeah. And I know you said you're still figuring out all your long-term goals, but I did see you make a video once where you were thinking about possibly being a gynecologist or opening a women's health center.
So I'm definitely still interested in that. I don't think I want to go the gynecologist route anymore, because I would have to go back to school for 12 years. I'd have to go, or however many years, and then you go to residency. I don't think I have that in me. I think doctors are incredibly strong, amazing people. And I think I was really excited to move into a more like community service space when I made that video. I was very much so like, I want to help women. I want to help survivors. Like, I've been assaulted. I have something called vaginismus. So any sort of exams, it's really hard for me to do. And I think I was in this space of like, I want to fix all of these problems. But volunteering at kind of like the community level right now, I think is really where my heart's at. Just because I feel myself actually making a difference versus kind of just like kind of going back to school and hoping that this time, like, this is the degree I like and this is what I want to do. And with this, I was really able to just jump in like after a month of training, and it feels a little bit more like accessible to people who maybe can't just like run to the gynecologist. But I do want to end up doing some sort of clinic situation at some point, maybe when I retire.
Yeah, I think there's a market for like a different kind of women's health clinic that feels, I've seen people start to do this in California already, something that feels more comfortable or more, I don't know if fun is the right word, but just a little less scary. You
Yes,
know?
a little bit less like sterile, well, like very clean, but like that medical feeling when you walk in and immediately like you just tense. Everything's tense. Like, how am I going to sit here and put my legs up in the stirrups and feel comfortable? Like, you can't in some of these like medical spaces nowadays. At least I have a really hard time with it. So I'm trying to figure that out currently. We'll see through this work with the community too. Maybe like I'll have a little bit of a like, aha, that's what I should do. But
Yeah, I think a clinic with a little more of a spa vibe could be welcome.
like a day spa, like, do you guys have any of those like 24-hour spas out here?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I said, as soon as I
Yeah.
said that, I was like, I know you guys have those
Yeah,
out
for
here.
sure.
Like something like that where you can like have a spa relaxing moment before you go in like for your exam. I think that would be really cool.
Yes.
I wonder how like sanitary that would be.
Oh, like you could figure out a way to make it good. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
like where my brain goes first. I love a spa though. That's
Yeah.
a great idea, honestly.
And what's your biggest goal for the rest of this year?
My biggest goal, I want to do more fun things with my love, Venus. I want to actually like go on a trip just for fun with us. Her
Yeah.
and I, because I do a lot of traveling for work,
Mhm.
but we like don't get to just go enjoy ourselves for the trip or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's a big goal of mine. I also want to continue travel dancing. I need to figure out like a very like specific goal for this year. I want to get my YouTube back up and going. Like I'm
Yes.
missing that a lot. My long form content I really miss. And then no promises, but now that you mention it, podcasts sound so fun. I don't know if I necessarily have the like bandwidth, like the emotional bandwidth to handle it. Because I get like so nervous, like talking to people sometimes.
You don't
but
seem like it. You've been great.
you didn't make me feel nervous at
Oh,
all.
thanks.
From the moment I like
Mhm.
walked in, I was like, I can tell with people, like, okay, like immediately I just feel like comfortable, or immediately I feel kind of like, oh, I want to like impress them, so I'm like nervous. And no,
Mhm.
I just felt very like warm and comfortable with you.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay. Before we sign off, I have to show you guys what she brought me. There's some slime, and this is pickle slime because you guys know I love pickles, and it smells like pickles. Like I'm
Yes.
obsessed with this.
It's very picklelicious.
And we have a fidget orange that peels and everything.
I have my hairy fidget that I've just been holding this whole time.
So cute.
It's full of hair right now.
And then these like candied fruits. Like how cute is this?
Yeah.
And it was a high school girl like selling them on the side of the road.
She sells them on Instagram.
Oh.
So Sweet Exotics LV.
I don't know where I got side of the road.
I think I kind of like accidentally framed it a little bit that way, where I was like, she was just selling these. I'm like, no, this is an entrepreneur.
This
a
is so
businesswoman.
good. This is a grape.
Yeah.
With oh my God.
And then freeze them too when you're
Look, make them bigger.
That's why my pants had
And all the noises. Okay, I need to put this
maybe
down.
freeze them.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see, but before I got here, it looked like I peed my pants because I did the same thing. I got a second order for Venus and I bit into one and it squirted like all down my pants. Just totally looked like I peed myself. Of course, like as we're 5 minutes away. But yeah, probably I feel like freeze them. I haven't had them before.
Well, they're good, not frozen. But
Okay, good.
Either way.
Good.
Do you meet your girlfriend at work? Did I see that? That's so cute.
Yeah. So she was coming into audition and I was just kind of like, oh my God, like she's super cute. Like, who is she? Came in with a group of her friends to audition together. And I was also kind of like, seems like a fun group of girls, like to get to know or something. And yeah, I asked her to go to a drag show with me and the rest was history.
I love that.
We dated for a few months and then I asked her to be my girlfriend a little over 3 years ago now.
Oh, nice.
It's
I love that.
It's been a while, which is
That's so cool.
time flies.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming by. I feel like I have so many other questions just floating around in my head, but maybe we'll do a part 2 one day if you feel like it.
I absolutely anytime.
Well,
Seriously.
thank you so much for
Of
coming.
course. Thank you so much.
And we will see you guys next week. Have an amazing day.